Shalom, and welcome to Jerusalem Hebrew's weekly reading and review of the top 10 most frequent words in each week's Torah reading. This week's Torah reading is Exodus chapter 27, verse 20 through chapter 30, verse 10. Parashat TEŠAWÉH. Number 1, Utham. Utham means them. It is a direct object pointer, and it's usually untranslatable, but when we add the suffix, a suffix, any suffix, pronoun suffix to them, which represents a pronoun, in this case, the represents them, saying that an action that preceded this word is directed to a quote-unquote them, then in such case, it is translatable, right? So the them, the added as a suffix here, is the target of an action, right? And that is the function of the word et, to point one to the object that receives an action. Number 2, وَلَا قَحْتَ. وَلَا قَحْتَ means and you shall take. Literally, it is and you took. The letter wa reverses the tense from perfect to imperfect, i.e., you will take. وَلَا قَحْتَ. Number 3, هَمِّزْبِيح. هَمِّزْبِيح, likely هَمِّزْبِيح. هَمِّزْبِيح in older Hebrew refers to the altar, okay? Whereas the English word altar derives from a Latin and then ultimately a Indo-European root that has to do with height or altitude, i.e. a high place. In contrast to that, the Hebrew word that's usually translated as altar, mizbeah, refers to a place of zbiha. Zbiha is ritual slaughter, is slaughtering in a prescribed manner and not just random killing. Right? And this is also tied into the idea of kosher slaughter not being just any random type of killing. Mizbeah, it is the place of ritual slaughter. Number 4, Uthah. Uthah, just like number 1, Utham, Uthah is a direct object pointer eth with an attached pronoun suffix. In this case, it is the third person masculine singular suffix, which in English we call him. So Uthah means him. Remember that it could mean him or it because there is no gender neutral pronoun in Hebrew. Well, perhaps the word me, but other than the word me or asher, I don't know, I'm thinking of others. Those are like the only two exceptions in the entire Hebrew language. But there is no word it, generally speaking. So normally when you would say in English it, in Hebrew you are either going to be saying him or her, he or she. Okay? But literally it's him. Third person masculine singular. It's attached to the direct object pointer et, and so it means it or him is the target of an action which was previously stated. Number 5, mu'adh. Mu'adh. Mu'adh is an appointed meeting. This same term is used in reference to the temple as well as divinely appointed holidays. So ohel mu'adh is one of the terms in reference to the temple, specifically in its portable tent type form in the Sinai desert. And it is the same term used to refer to the appointed holy days, appointed by divine command. Mu'adh, mu'adh. And this is likely related to the Arabic word for holiday, Eid, like Eid Mubarak. All right, mu'adh. Number 6, banal. Banal means his sons. Banal. Ben is son in Hebrew. Bina would be his son with the suffix. So unlike English where we precede a noun with the one who possesses it or is associated with it, so you'd say his sons in English. In Hebrew, it's the opposite. You would say son his or son of his, right? So Ben is son, Bina is his son, and Banal would be his sons plural. The is his singular and the all is his plural. Banal. Number 7, Saviv. Saviv means encircling. Encircling. Saviv often means around or all around and surrounding in modern Hebrew. Seviva is also used to refer to the environment or one's environs. Saviv. This is also, by the way, the same root as the modern Hebrew word for a top, a spin top that you spin like a dreidel, savivon, right? Why? Because it's going around. Number 8, Ohel. Ohel is a tent, a building with fabric walls, usually like traditional Bedouin dwellings. That is ahed. Number 9, lahem. Lahem means for them or to them. The L sound, the la, is a frequent prefix in Hebrew meaning to or for. Occasionally it means of. And the him is a pronoun suffix meaning them. So lahem is to them or for them. Number 10, ha'hushan. Ha'hushan. Hushan refers to the breastplate of high priests, as of the Aaronic priesthood. Hushan. Its possible origin, there are many potential origins, though there is no scholarly consensus, not even nearly, regarding the literal meaning of this term, and it's a fairly rare term. Some of these possible origins I came up with myself by a lot of contemplation about this word and other similar sounding Hebrew words. So some of the possible connotations is ornament, beautiful, right? And I get that from the idea of the Arabic word Hassan or Hussein, and sense from the word hush or hush lahush, right? Or in Arabic has or feel. So getting a feeling or a sensation or a sense of something. Also from a Hebrew word that is pretty rare, but it's in the Bible, for hurry, to hurry, or concern, like hashud or hashash, right? Possibly from a word for fold. I believe that's husn. For whisper, lahush or huhash. And 5 for refuge. Well, this is much more than 5, but refuge, it could possibly be deriving from a word for refuge or a word for silence, like has, right? Similar to the word hush in English. Right? So hushan refers to the breastplate of the high priest. Top 3 most frequent 2-word phrases in the Torah portion. Lifne Adonai. Lifne Adonai means before the eternal. Lifne can be chronologically or physically before. It could also be translated as in the presence of, all depending on context. Lifne Adonai. Number 2, Ohel Mo'ed. Ohel Mo'ed, the tent of appointment, often translated as the tent of meeting. But when it's saying tent of meeting, it doesn't just mean meetings in general, but divinely designated meetings. Ohel Mo'ed. And this could also be a reference to the fact that it is a gathering place during the Mo'adim, the appointed times, the biblical holidays divinely decreed by the Almighty, according to the tradition of Israel. Al-Hammizbe'ah. Al-Hammizbe'ah means upon the altar. Al means on or upon or over. So it literally means on the place of ritual slaughter, because Mizbeah, as mentioned earlier, means the place of Zviha, the place of ritual slaughter. The root Z-B-Het, Zayin Bet Het in Hebrew refers to ritual slaughter, slaughtering in a prescribed manner, in a specific manner. Top 3 phrases that are 4 words and over in the Torah portion. وَسَمَخْ أَهَرَنْ وَبَنَوْ أَثْيَدَيْهِمْ عَلَى الْعَرْشِ. وَسَمَخْ أَهَرَنْ وَبَنَوْ أَثْيَدَيْهِمْ عَلى الْعَرْشِ. And lean shall Aharon and his sons their hands on the head, ... of the sacrifice. Number 2, V'chve qadash l'Aharon achicha. V'chve qadash l'Aharon achicha. Garments of sanctity for Aaron your brother. Could also translate it as the holy garments for Aaron your brother. And finally, number 3, Hasheni ta'ase ben ha'arbayim. Hasheni ta'ase ben ha'arbayim. And the second you shall do between the evenings. Ben ha'arbayim is a expression of much discussion in early rabbinic literature, especially in the Talmudic literature. And it is most likely believed, the general view is that it's referring to 2 divisions of evening time. Otherwise, we'd be referring to an entire day, and it would just say the word day if we're saying from one evening to the next. But rather, it's referring to 2 marked points of evening time in one single day. Now, what might that be? Such as sunset and then nightfall. So from the sunset to the appearance of 3 stars, approximately. And sunset can be defined in more than one way. You could define it as sunset on the horizon or sunset when the sun begins to set. So from the point of midday on. Well, not midday exactly, but just after midday and then on. So there's actually multiple ways of viewing this. The question is which way, and there are different opinions regarding exactly what that is. If you benefited from this video or our other videos, please consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/authentic Torah, or subscribing to my YouTube channel. And you can also find resources that I create in partnership with the Mishnah Walk on the mishnahwalk.com or just mishnahwalk.com. And in that case, we look forward to seeing you next week. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Shabbat shalom.